ever heard of taphophobia? Up until today, I hadn't. Taphophobia is the fear of being buried alive. And here's the crazy part. It's actually happened, which is why people are afraid of it. Now, there's a couple of documented cases that happened back in the 14th and the 17th century, which kind of makes sense. Back in those days, they didn't have advanced medical diagnostics. They didn't even have stethoscopes. They just held a mirror up in front of somebody's face to see if they were breathing or not. But what's mind-blowing is that this has happened as recently as 2011 and 2014. In 2011, the lady had not been embalmed. She woke up in her casket, alive. In 2014, the guy was in the body bag on his way to being embalmed, but fortunately came around before that whole horrible procedure started. In the 1800s, taphophobia, the fear of being buried alive, was so widespread that there were tests that people would put into their will that they wanted to have done to them to determine that they really were actually dead before they were buried. They would have hot liquids poured onto their skin or incisions made. Some were even buried with crowbars and shovels. And if that isn't crazy enough, it gets crazier. There are actually patents on coffins that were equipped with mechanisms to notify people if you'd been buried alive or to be able to escape if you found yourself in that predicament. The improved burial case was patented in 1868. It has a little hatch that you can push up on and get yourself out. The device for indicating live and buried persons has a little pipe that sticks out of it so a person can communicate with the outside world, and it also, as an extra bonus feature, brings air into the coffin so that they can survive under there. Now, this one wasn't really meant to prevent somebody from being buried alive. The John Knight Your Music for Eternity systems, which was patented in 2015, is actually a system that can play music not only to the decomposing corpse buried underground, but any guests that come to visit. So, word of advice, anybody coming to visit me after my expiration date is passed, you're going to hear Partridge Family tunes cranking out of that sucker all day long.